Distance can remain unchanged while control quietly disappears. This is the pattern that will come into view: how Algeria stayed physically close to France, yet became structurally unreachable. By the end, the loss will not appear as a moment of decision, but as the visible surface of pressures that had already removed every alternative. This matters because proximity often disguises separation. When distance looks small on a map, constraint becomes harder to see. And when constraint becomes harder to see, it continues without interruption. Algeria begins where Europe ends, across a narrow band of water that rarely exceeds 750 kilometers. The Mediterranean between Marseille and Algiers can be crossed in less than 2 days by ship. The northern coast of Algeria faces directly toward France, with no intervening landmass. The coastal plain forms a thin, fertile strip, rarely extending more than 80 kilometers inland before rising into the Tel Atlas Mountains. Beyond those mountains, the land rises again into the high plateaus, dry and exposed. South of that, the terrain falls into the Sahara, a desert that occupies more than 4/5 of Algeria's total area. Rainfall concentrates almost entirely along the coast. Inland, precipitation declines rapidly. Permanent rivers are few. Most watercourses remain seasonal. The ports of Algiers, Oran, and Constantine sit along this northern edge, facing the sea. And beyond them, the land becomes progressively harder to cross. In 1830, France occupied Algiers. The crossing required no complex overland supply. Ships carried men, equipment, and food directly to the point of arrival. The Mediterranean functioned as an open corridor. Movement was linear, uninterrupted by terrain. But once inland, the coastline ended. The Tel Atlas formed a continuous barrier, running east to west across the entire country. Its ridges, valleys, and folds broke movement into fragments. Roads could not proceed in straight lines. Each route curved around elevation, extending distance without changing the map. Beyond that barrier, the high plateaus opened into wide, dry expanses. Summer temperatures exceeded 40 degrees Celsius. Water sources scattered unpredictably. Movement slowed. Distance began to accumulate inside the land itself. The coastal plain could sustain dense settlement. Its soil supported vineyards, wheat, and citrus. Rainfall remained sufficient for permanent agriculture. Ports connected directly to France. Population concentrated there. By 1900, European settlers numbered more than 600,000, nearly all within this narrow northern band. But beyond the mountains, population did not disappear. It dispersed. Villages spread across valleys, plateaus, and interior basins, separated by terrain that resisted consolidation. Roads linking them extended longer than straight-line distance suggested. Maintenance required constant material and labor. Each kilometer inland increased the length of every supply line behind it. Not dramatically at first, but permanently. Railways attempted to bridge this separation. By the early 20th century, Algeria contained more than 5,000 kilometers of track. Lines connected ports to interior towns, crossing mountains through tunnels and switchbacks. But railways could only extend where terrain permitted stable gradients. Large areas remained accessible only by secondary roads, and secondary roads degraded faster than they could be stabilized. Maintenance traveled in one direction. Deterioration accumulated in all directions. Across the Mediterranean, France's population exceeded 40 million. In Algeria, the population grew from approximately 3 million in 1830 to over 9 million by 1950. Growth did not distribute evenly. It expanded outward into the interior. Each additional settlement appeared farther from the coastal ports. Each additional settlement required connection. Connection extended distance, and distance accumulated weight. Agricultural production along the coast oriented northward, toward France. Wheat, wine, and citrus moved efficiently by ship. Export remained faster than internal distribution. The sea shortened distance. The land lengthened it. The interior did not feed the coast. The coast fed outward, across water. This directional imbalance did not reverse. It deepened. Fresh water remained concentrated in the north. The Sahara expanded southward, uninterrupted. The desert did not need to move to exert pressure. It only needed to remain. By the mid-20th century, Algeria's road network exceeded 50,000 kilometers. But scale did not equal reach. Large portions crossed terrain that eroded faster than it could be reinforced. Seasonal flooding removed surfaces. Heat fractured pavement. Sand reclaimed edges. Every repair began as soon as the previous one ended. Movement required continuous reconstruction. Silence extended between settlements. In the Ore Mountains, elevation exceeded 2,300 meters. Winter snow blocked passage. Summer heat fractured stone. Roads existed. Continuity did not. The Mediterranean crossing remained constant. Ships still traveled between Marseille and Algiers in less than 2 days, but every kilometer beyond the port required additional transport layered on top of the crossing. Sea, rail, road, foot. Each layer introduced delay. Delay accumulated without announcement. Population growth continued inland. By 1954, more than 70% of Algeria's population lived outside major coastal cities, not beyond reach, but beyond immediacy. Distance did not prevent arrival, it prevented simultaneity. Presence became uneven. Unevenness remained stable. Oil and natural gas reserves existed beneath the Sahara. But extraction required infrastructure across desert terrain, where temperature, distance, and isolation imposed their own demands. Pipelines extended hundreds of kilometers north. Construction required material transported across land that did not support transport easily. The resource existed. Access did not simplify. It extended. Urban centers along the coast grew denser. Interior settlements grew farther apart. The ratio between connection and separation did not stabilize. It widened. Every road added length to maintain. Every rail added surface to protect. Every settlement added distance behind it. The Mediterranean did not expand. The land did. Recognition emerged gradually, not as an event, as accumulation. Maps still showed Algeria attached across a narrow sea, but the functional distance between coastal control and interior space had become layered, not measured in kilometers, measured in continuation. What happens when connection requires constant extension, but extension produces more distance than it resolves? No adjustment alters the underlying terrain. The coastline remains narrow, the mountains remain fixed, the desert remains intact. Every path that crosses them inherits their shape. Every network conforms to the same contours. Recognition does not remove the constraint. It clarifies its permanence. The ports continued to operate. Ships continued to cross. The coastline remained visible from the water. Nothing moved, and yet continuity did not return. The interior remained where it had always been, beyond immediate reach. Distance, once established, did not need to increase further. It only needed to remain. If this story gave you something to think about, consider subscribing to Timeless Questions. We explore history, philosophy, and the patterns that quietly guide human behavior.